Welcome back to Geekshow Helpdesk.
Hey.
Here to help you.
That's right. Or
I'm so happy.
help you or hinder
I'm
you.
happy to be back
Help
after a week of
me.
vacation because, unlike some people on this podcast, I vacay, and it's amazing.
You do? Where'd you go vacating? Where'd you go?
I went to California. We went to LAX, then we migrated down to San Diego for a few days and came back.
Did you go to the zoo?
No, we've been to the zoo a couple times. We went to Channel Islands, and I saw the island scrub jay. It's the only place in the entire world that this bird exists, and I saw it. It was amazing. We went and saw Angels game.
What did
that
it
was
do?
fun. So yeah,
It
it
just existed.
What did the bird do?
No, it's a really pretty color blue. It's the only place it exists. I have a picture of it. I saw it. I captured it like a poke. So here's the thing, guys. You become an old person, and there's a couple different routes you can go. You can become like the lawn dad, right, where you're like the guy who takes care of their lawn all the time. Or you can go become a bird watcher.
That's what
I've chosen the
happens.
bird watcher route.
Yep.
There's-
It sneaks
there's
up
no
on you.
other
The closer,
options?
the closer
I'm
you
sure
get
there's
to
other
40,
options.
Now, the closer you get to 40, all of a sudden you're just like, wow, what kind of bird is that? Like, it's about 34 when I started being like, is that a woodpecker?
Here's the cool thing I do. So I just found this out. There's a database. It's like one of those scholarly databases you can have access to if you're a part of the university. It is the Cornell University Wide World of Birds database, and they have an app. This app is the dopest thing in the entire world. You put it on your phone and you open it up and you can identify birds with the app. And the way it does it is via sound. So you record the bird, it goes tweet, 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 and it says,
That's
here's
pretty
your bird.
cool,
And then you
actually.
capture the list.
What's it called? What's it
Oh.
called?
Merlin Bird ID.
Fell asleep.
Merlin Bird ID. I've
Owen,
pondered.
follow me on Twitter.
I've thought on becoming a birder many times. Actually,
It feels like here's what it is. It's the
That's
adult
Lando.
version of Pokemon.
Follow him.
I
at
feel like I'm
Lando
capturing
Conover.
Pokemon every time I see a new bird. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
does it
At
keep
Jared.
track of the
We have a
birds
host.
you've
Name's
identified?
Tony.
Yep, dates.
Hey, Tony.
and
Really?
place.
That sounds really cool.
And
It is.
now we
It's
can
super
move
cool.
on to the stories. Now we
And
can
you
talk
can
about
learn-
birds and stuff.
I
I did the
just
intro.
muted both of them because this is not bird.
I can
talk.
unmute myself, guys. Come on, this is easy.
We should start a new
I already did.
bird
I already did
podcast.
I already did the intro. We can remove
Yep,
right
I
into
think we're all done.
emails.
We got
Can we
Tony,
do-
Owen,
can we-
Jaron, and Lando. This
we
is
do-
the gadget. This is Geek Show Help Desk where we
This
talk
is
about
the gadget. What?
tech gadgets and
Soon-
sciencey things.
Soon we're gonna have Geek Show Bird Show.
We
Show
should-
bird
ooh,
show.
We'll save this for the in between because I got things. I got things to
Okay.
say about it.
All right. We have an email.
Oh, sweet.
Huzzah.
Yeah. An email from Jarrett. He says, "Hello, my good fellows. As I
Hello.
expand device use on my Windows computer, I am upgrading my USB hub input capacity, going from 4 to 10. I'm using things like an audio interface, MIDI keyboard, Bluetooth dongles. My question is, when would I hit a limit on incoming USB signals? Can I hook up a hub to another hub, or is that blasphemous? Thank you for your insight, Jarrett of the Greenwood."
Well,
Hubception.
the answer is yes and yes.
Keep going till it breaks. You just keep going.
Yes,
you
you
keep going
can.
until it can't supply enough power, and then
Yes, you can hook up a hub on a hub, and yes, it is blasphemous. So
it
But
works.
it's fun.
it is
Until-
definitely
is there a
not
bus?
recommended.
Is there a bus limitation eventually, or does the
Well, you're
USB
limited
just
by
keep...
whatever is connected to your computer. So
Right.
if you're running everything off a USB 3, your limit is, the theoretical,
10
what is it,
gig
5
or
or 6
40.
gigabits per
I
second?
think it's 10 gigabits per second.
No, that's 3.1.
No, before it
USB
starts to
3.
before it
yes,
starts to
3.0.
degrade, it'll still power the stuff. It just
No, I'm
shares
not
it
talking about power.
equally.
I'm talking about data.
Oh yeah, but it just goes slower and slower and slower. You can
Yeah.
keep adding
That's
and
what I
adding
mean.
and adding,
But
but there's no
the
physical limitation, right?
the
'Cause
real
it creates
answer-
USB ports, right? Or USB.
virtual
I think
USB,
Owen really
yeah.
wants to answer this question.
No, I don't. I'm just curious. I'm curious here too.
He's just speculating. He
Yeah.
he doesn't know for sure.
Speculation.
The real answer is going to be look in your motherboard
Now,
motherboard guide. Look up the motherboard specs online.
What's this guy's name?
Each one's different.
Gotta read the docs.
what's his name? What's his name, Jared? Sorry, I wasn't listening before.
Jared.
Jarrett.
Jarrett of the Greenwood.
Jared of the Greenland, come here. Get closer. Come here. Just keep going until it doesn't work anymore. That's it. Don't look at manuals. We don't RTFM around here. We don't do that. Just you keep plugging in. You keep getting and you keep plugging until your happy little Greenwood soul can't plug anything else in. And then you tell us if it worked or
What
not.
did you get to?
Because I want to know.
So there, and even then, sometimes it just doesn't work as well as you'd want it to, because I've seen examples where someone is just using the full amount of USB ports on their motherboard and the front of their computer, and it still doesn't work good.
Yeah.
So,
And those are different buses. To going back to the actual technical, the front has its own bus. The I/O on the back is its own bus.
Yeah.
So theoretically, that's why when people are like, "Oh, take the USB drive out and try putting it on another USB port," because a lot of times one bus, they're independently bused,
Yeah.
and so sometimes
So many
I mean,
buses.
just
All
keep
buses.
yeah. So if once you fill up one side, it don't work, flip it over to the other side of your laptop or your whatever, and then if that don't work, go to the back of you. If you've got a computer tower, just keep trying, man. Just let us know. Like I'm inquiring podcasters want to know from you.
and there are definitely
Christmas story type situation.
Yeah.
There are certain devices that will tell you do not use on a hub. Usually audio interface devices prefer or recommend you don't go through a hub for latency reasons and things like that. So
Because a hub will broadcast the signal to all ports and wait for something to respond, right? Just like a network hub.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I made that mostly up. I was hoping for you to confirm it, but it sounded really smart because in networking, that's what a network hub does: is it broadcasts everything to all ports and waits to listen. And I thought maybe I could
Maybe
sound
it's
smart.
the same. I don't
No,
know.
let's move on. I'm sounding less smart every second. So
But yet you keep talking.
no, I don't.
I was going to let him keep going.
Yeah, I
I'm
was
loving
just
the
saying.
moment of it.
I was waiting for somebody to grab the reins and take it from me, and not just let me fill the
No,
space with more
You had those
stupidity.
those
I'm enjoying
reins
this.
clinched.
Yeah,
they were
see,
firmly in your
now
hands.
it's your fault. Now it's your fault, Jaron, because you're enjoying it. See, you're doing this to me now. I'm the victim. Everybody heard it. All right.
Still talking.
Are you?
You're not. You're letting me talk, Jaron.
Foot in mouth.
This is. I feel like
Anyway.
clips from certain political candidates' rallies sound a lot like this. Go a lot like this.
You know. That's enough about that. Let's move on.
Owen has the best words.
That's enough.
All the best
No,
words.
That's
no
enough,
words
that's
ever
enough
better.
About, it's enough about electricity and network hubs. I'm leaving that there.
Huge your
Let's go.
hubs. Everyone says it. I have the best ones.
Electrocution.
Everyone
sharks.
knows
Let's
it.
Owen doesn't care about you. He just wants your download.
I just want your
That's
download,
all.
my guy.
All right. Is that it? That's
Yep.
the emails?
That's it.
Right on. Thanks for writing in. All right. Helpdesk. That's what we're doing.
Yep.
We have a lot of arcade news, so stay tuned for that in a couple days. There's been boatloads of game news, but there's been a fair amount of
Boatloads.
Helpdesk news as well. Let's talk about delusional people such as Elon Musk.
Can we talk about the Apple? Doesn't the Apple event stuff go first, and then we talk about
No.
Elon Musk?
No, you
I agree
wanna
with
end
Lando.
on-
Well, actually,
No.
yeah, it kind of dovetails into it.
Yep.
Feathertails.
Yep.
Dovetails into it. But you know what? Before we even get into that, we need to get this out of the way so Jaron doesn't get another chance to say, no, just do it next week.
Yep.
The sodium ion batteries,
BS, baby.
BS.
These are really cool. Sodium is 500 to 1,000 times more abundant than lithium on Earth, so a
Have some
lot
on my
easier to
table
get.
right now.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's a lot easier to make, and they have a very distinct use case for battery technology out there. They don't last as long as lithium ion. However, they are cheaper to make, and they go up to 50,000 cycles for the lifespan,
That's
Very
a
good.
lot. I thought you said they weren't as good.
but they don't last as long on a
mean, they're not-
charge.
they're
Not,
not
as
as
energy dense.
Dense. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
They charge and discharge at rates 5 times faster than lithium ion. So it's really ideal for like grid storage,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So there we go. New battery tech out there.
Yay.
New battery tech that's 5 to 10 years off.
As
all-
always.
all the time. Cool. Well, there you go. We got to that story finally, Jaron.
Yay!
Great job. All right, let's talk about the WWDC stuff. Apple trotted out
Dub.
their developers conference announcements. It's all software based, just like it is every year. This is their This is showing
no
off.
surprise.
Yep, this is showing off what iOS 18 et al. Is going to bring to the table.
Well, let's begin with the most important announcement of the day. They introduced a Christopher Nolan mode on Apple TVs.
What?
What is that?
It
just
enhances the
dark?
dialogue, just the dialogue.
Oh, that's
Oh, I'm in on
right.
that.
Yes, That I would say that ties with the AirPods news as well. How you can shake your head or nod your head if Siri asks
That
you
was
if you want
cool.
to answer a call. What's so funny is I think that is making more buzz than almost any other feature on the tech blogs. Everyone's like, "Oh man, this is awesome."
You can answer now. You can answer in ninja mode now. So you can like somebody calls you, you can just nod your head
And then
like you're
hope the
talking the
person on the other
conversation.
side. Hope the person on the other side just starts talking to you and knows that you're not going to reply back.
No, like if you're getting if you're at your own crime scene or your own murder scene, you can like, maybe it'll help people.
Maybe it's good for.
Maybe if you help people record people anonymously, which is illegal, but they like to do. So,
it'll
Which
be
you
good.
can do on the new version of iOS.
That's
you can
right.
record.
Yep.
Yay!
So they trotted out a new AI, Apple Intelligence. They're gonna call it all Apple.
aren't they
Intelligence
behind the game on that, Tony? Like, aren't they far behind the other
Well,
competitors in the space?
Not
The
really.
other
year and a
competitor is recommending you to eat rocks and make pizza with glue. Yeah.
But behind the release, because we all know as they come to market, they're obviously better if they come out first.
Is that is how that works, right?
Yeah, I came
Yeah.
out first with this. I'm the bestest.
So Apple Intelligence is actually kind of cool.
No.
The stuff they showed off. Yeah.
If what they say is
it
actually
works.
going to work
So-
the way they say it's going to work.
Yeah, that's the
Yep,
big
that's
that's
the
the big
thing.
question, because the last time they made lofty promises like this was Siri with its AI assistant stuff, and this is right
that
right
couldn't
down
even
that
operate
same
on
road, right in that same vein. And I'm
Well,
just like,
the
well,
exact
this
things they debuted on Siri did work. Like, what's the weather?
very
right?
poorly.
Not
When
right.
Siri is very good with weather. That's about it.
He'll give it to you even if you don't ask sometimes.
The only time Siri became useful to me was when they finally offloaded the simple task of creating a timer to use the hardware on
The hardware
phone
instead of their
instead of
servers?
having to call back to a server to start a timer on my phone.
Yeah.
Anyway,
know.
Speaking of Siri, though, it is getting a big AI infusion.
With ChatGPT.
Well,
No.
so not really. So the ChatGPT 4.0 stuff is only if you make a request that Apple's
Can't.
AI stuff decides it isn't well prepared or can handle whatever the question was. Then it offloads that to ChatGPT 4.0.
Yeah, everything
and
that they
brings that
debuted
information back in.
runs
So,
privately on your phone.
Which is
for
cool.
Most of the things, unless they determine they need a little bit more oomph, then they go to Apple Silicon data servers that
Yep.
Apple owns,
Yep.
anonymize the data, make it private, and they will offload that processing there. If that isn't enough, then they have some algorithm or whatever to say, hey, we can't do this. Do you want us to ask ChatGPT? And you have to
So there's
specifically
3 levels of failure before it gets to, or 2
Yeah.
levels,
2 levels
of
of failure, yeah.
before.
So
then
and you have to
consent
specifically say
Yeah.
yes or no if you want it to go out
Yeah.
to ChatGPT.
Which
every
I think
time.
is actually kind of cool. You know?
I hope therere's a setting where you can always say yes.
Just
That'd be
yes.
nice.
I always want
Auto
yes.
Yeah,
So the
auto
Apple
yes.
the Apple haters and the ChatGPT lovers out there are vastly. There's the misinformation is widespread then because there's a lot of people just being like, Apple has plugged in ChatGPT to catch up with competitors, but this doesn't sound like that nearly as much.
No,
it's
not at all.
definitely not
Because
like that, yeah.
if you remember the rumors, it was just a couple weeks ago that Apple inked a deal with ChatGPT. How could they possibly integrate that into an OS in just a
Right.
couple weeks?
Yeah,
Right.
doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I thought they'd just slap a white Apple skin on it. Call it
Oh, some
Apple,
white label action. Yeah,
some
no.
white label Apple GPT.
No, yeah, it's definitely different than that.
How is this in comparison to Copilot with Microsoft?
Well,
I
we
feel like
don't know,
Copilot is
because
That's
it's
to
not
be
out yet.
determined.
We
Like,
don't know. It's not out yet.
definitely not the failure levels. I feel like Copilot is a lot more integrated with ChatGPT directly
well,
because they have special
Copilot is
licensing.
ChatGPT.
Copilot
Exactly, right?
is what you were saying basically. It's a white label.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting though because like Apple's doing a lot of the same stuff that Copilot does, but it's not using ChatGPT for it. Like you can have it rewrite whatever you wrote in a different tone, or all the basic Copilot
Yeah.
stuff.
What's,
You can have it
spell-
summarize emails, all that stuff. My problem with Copilot, though, is when you click on summarize an email for me, it takes a good 20 seconds for it to.
I feel
It's
like
a
you
minute.
could skim the email yourself in that amount of time. Yeah.
It's very slow, and I end up never using it because of that. So I'm very curious about the speed of this. If it's happening on device, is that going to make it better or worse? I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's a tough one to say.
It'll be.
My gut tells me worse because there's less power on device.
Yeah, that's true. So it all depends on how efficient they've programmed their model,
Or better because they
Their
don't.
chips?
There's no latency of having to ping the server.
It depends on
maybe.
if that's the bottleneck. Is the
Yeah.
bottleneck the network? Then yes. If the bottleneck wasn't the network, then no, it will not be any better.
They're integrating it throughout the entire OS, though. It's context aware, so whatever you have on your screen,
That's what I'm excited
Yeah.
for.
it can respond to. You can ask it a question and then build on that question with further responses. Now, this is stuff that other voice assistants have done in the past, so it'll be interesting to see how this works. But it's a giant step up from what Apple had before.
Yeah.
They also have other features like integrating with a photo app, like you can do the magic eraser type stuff that Google's had for a while.
Now, all of this integration stuff is really cool, but it does raise privacy concerns as well. Apple is quick to say, all of your data is local to the device. If it's not local to the device, it's anonymized when it gets pushed up to the cloud. They say they're not saving any of this stuff after your queries and stuff are finished, et cetera, et cetera. So until devs can get in there and actually pick apart what's going on, we have to take them at their word on this.
Although, if I remember right, devs can actually
historically-
use this, though, right?
Yeah.
Which is great.
So they'll be we'll be able to know by the time it launches on iOS 18 if they're actually, performing the way that they said it's going to be.
Mostly. So they said they would open up the software to be scrutinized, but they're not opening up all of it, only select parts.
They're going to keep their special sauce behind the curtain because they don't want anyone
course.
to see it. But yeah, it's I'm tentatively excited for this. I think if it works as well as they say, it's going to be really cool.
You have to have a iPhone 15 Pro or newer for it to work on your phone,
Makes
unfortunately.
me sad.
15 is last year's model, right?
It's the current one.
current one, yeah.
15 Pro. So not the 15, but the 15 Pro.
Yeah, because the 15 had last year's SoC,
Yep.
not the newest one.
And then any M series chips for the iPad or
Nice.
laptops.
So yeah, and that was the other thing that was crazy was the fact that they've kind of seamlessly integrated this out the gate with all of their operating systems. It's not like, okay, it's on iOS, but it's not on macOS, or it's on macOS, but it's not on iOS. It's on everything. Which
Yep.
brings me to iPadOS.
Wait. We're not. I'm
What
not
a
done
turd.
Here. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
You're a turd too.
Okay. I
That's
already
true.
knew that.
Can confirm.
They have other things too, like they have like a diffusion model so you can create your own pictures. This is their own model though. They're not going out to Chat GPT for this. And I'm really curious their guardrails on that. Because what kind of pictures will it let you create? How far can you go?
Hot
I'm sure
dog
people
or not a
will.
hot dog.
I'm sure people will test this to its limit the first day it's out, and I'm
Absolutely.
sure there'll be a lot of backlash and
Yep.
Apple trying to keep up with the.
Do damage control.
Yep. So yeah, it's exciting overall. I was surprised they went so deep so quickly. I didn't think it would be this integrated into the OS and potentially useful.
Yeah. This doesn't raise the same red flags as Microsoft's Copilot recall because the whole point of recall is to
Ooh, that has taken
consistently
some
monitor
hits.
what you're doing and then record it so you can refer to it back. Whereas this doesn't appear to be doing anything like that. It's just helping you in the moment with what's on your screen.
And Microsoft has said that they will improve the security of that.
Well, not only that have they said they'll improve the security, but they have also changed it to, it used to be an opt-out feature when they were going to launch it. They have said it will now be an opt-in feature.
Which is the way it should
which is
be.
the way it should be.
Yep.
So they're doing some damage control on that. This is just a side note that I think is good. But remains to be seen, of course, when it actually comes out how good the damage control actually is, what lengths they're going to compromise, or what lengths they will go to compromise what they see as their vision for Copilot versus what the consumer does or doesn't want. So anyway, iPad OS. What a nothing burger.
I
of an
wanted
update.
two things this
Yeah.
entire WWDC. I wanted better multitasking on iPad OS.
Yep.
Yep.
We got nothing. It's still so confusing to use.
Meh. Yeah.
I wanted to split out a tab in Safari like a couple days ago. It took me 2 minutes to figure this out. It shouldn't take 2 minutes
No.
to figure this out.
No, it should be way more intuitive.
And number two, I wanted better notifications because iOS's notifications blow. They've
Oh,
always
see.
blown ever since they debuted their notifications. I want WebOS notifications
Oh, please.
on
Here
my
we go
phone.
again. I want WebOS. Brr-ba-dur-ba-dur. I like
WebOS, right?
15-year-old OS. Brr-ba-dur-ba-dur.
It was before
That
its
was my
time,
impression
Tony.
of you, Jaron.
Burr, de burr, de burr.
My second thing, I wanted better multitasking too, but my second thing was I just wanted good file
Oh yeah, that's number three. Wanted a file
directory
manager.
management stuff on the iPad. But
I want to be able
Alas.
to use my iPad as my main computer. I want that so bad.
it would be freaking sweet.
It would be.
Alas, we got none of those things. They did also announce that they are supporting text messages now via satellite,
That is cool.
which is neat.
I'm excited
About
for
R-
that.
nothing
That's
about
nice.
RCS. Nothing
And
about
then,
RCS.
and then RCS as well is coming to it with iOS 18. I saw an article today, and I should have marked it, but it said what version of RCS they're going to support as the baseline, and it's one of the newer ones that has things like business RCS and stuff like that supported. So that's good. At least they do have a tendency to, in the past, sometimes say we're going to do this thing and then roll out a severely gimped version of whatever it is that they said they're
just a
gonna support.
token, a token
Yeah,
effort.
a token effort. So
And you better appreciate it.
that's right.
I will. Oh,
But
I'll-
RCS looks like it's going to be, pretty robust, the real deal. At least in its implementation. What it actually is used for is up to the programmers and the developers at that point.
They redesigned the Photos app, which no one asked for, and I don't know why they keep on redesigning the stupid app. It's fine
you have
how
to-
it
you
is.
have to
Stop
have
wasting
updates.
resources on this and fix your notifications.
Yeah, they announced Passwords app, a dedicated application for password management.
I'm excited for
I
this.
thought they already had the keychain for that.
Well,
They
that
do,
was-
but it's a dedicated app for all the devices now, and they're
Yeah.
bringing it to Windows as well. If the Windows integration is decent, like there's an actual browser extension and
won't.
stuff, I would switch off of my
No.
Really?
proprietary server. Yeah, I totally would,
Why?
because I wouldn't have to worry about it.
but
Though
but didn't you move over to that proprietary server to keep it off of the cloud anywhere, to make it your own? Like
I did it
so that-
for cost.
Oh.
I didn't
Yeah,
want to
that's
pay
what I
anyone.
mean. What do you think the cost is going to be on this?
It's free.
Oh, it's free?
Yeah, it's free.
Baloney.
No, it is. Why would they charge for it? They've had password managing forever. They just broke it out into an app
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
now it's hosted on
on your iCloud.
It's always
on
been
their
there, though.
servers.
But it's part of the data is part of your iCloud anyway.
But it'll now be able to go over to like a browser
But now
extension.
if
It'll
it's
be able
on
to
like a
do
browser-
capture just
yeah,
like
that's-
just like other password managers can.
And
That's-
Apple's always had that. Keychain's
Yeah,
always
they-
been
yeah,
a password
keychain- yeah,
thing.
right.
yeah.
yeah, but
This
that
is
was
just
local.
like making
It
an
was
app
local,
more like one password.
But that's the thing is when it was keychain, it was just local to the device.
Mm-mm,
No,
no, it
it's
syncs by
synced.
iCloud.
Oh,
yeah.
does it really?
It does.
I was unaware
I-
of that. Okay.
I have a good friend whose password manager has been Keychain, the Apple stuff,
Interesting.
forever.
Yeah, it's
I wonder
decent. It's decent
I wonder
if you only
LastPass,
use
OnePass and Bitwarden.
Apple
I wonder if those
devices.
guys are. I wonder if those guys are getting a little nervous.
If there's an easy way to switch over, I'll switch.
Yeah, well, it's free.
Yeah,
so it
yeah.
doesn't even have
If
to
the
be
Windows
that good.
implementation is halfway decent, I will totally switch.
Yeah,
That's very
absolutely.
interesting.
The only problem though is text message spoofing, because if you have 2FA on your phone, that's really the only method as far as I'm aware with Apple. So
Oh, they don't support authenticator app style stuff.
not that I'm aware of. I could be wrong though. But speaking of apps that they're killing, AllTrails is another one. They now have hiking in maps, so you can save hiking routes and
I'm not so sure about that. All Trails is too popular, and that's just what everyone uses. Why would people switch?
because this is free.
All
you
Trails is free-ish.
But you can't save maps for the free subscription with All Trails. You have to
That's
pay
fair.
$35 a year. But this will let you download maps for free in their built-in app. So
Interesting.
I'm gonna give it a try. I'm excited for that.
Oh, let's see what else. WatchOS 11,
Hey, you missed over the biggest
miss?
deal.
macOS Sequoia.
Oh no, you can put your icons wherever you want on the home screen and change
Oh
the colors
yeah,
of
I
them.
forgot about that.
Yay!
Apple has now caught up to Android version 3.
No, 1.0.
1.0.
Yeah.
And you're grateful for it, you
Yeah, that's
fanboys.
right. And you're gonna like
I'm
it.
super excited.
So you can really actually customize your screen now.
I could not care for this at all because I'm all about efficiency on my home screens. I have 2. I don't want more than 2. And so mine are
I
packed
have
to the
less.
gills.
I have 1 with very few things.
Yeah. So like mine are
search
completely
for
filled up.
everything.
I wouldn't need to rearrange icons anyway. Though I know many people will love this, and
Is this-
that's great.
Is this going to change anything with widgets? Are we going to have interactable widgets now?
Yeah, you can resize the widgets whoever you want. It was
They
Apple.
had
but I'm-
interactable widgets since the last iOS version.
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
Devs just
I'm
need to update their widgets for that.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of
Yep.
because the ones I have still are poopy.
Probably my favorite feature though is control center customization.
That is kind of cool. Yeah.
That'd be
yeah.
nice.
You can have it do whatever you want. Size things as small or as big as you want. Have different categories, different pages. That looks cool. That looks genuinely useful, and that's probably one of the features I'm excited for.
Can I get to my Bluetooth devices off of that now?
I don't know, Tony.
The settings, Tony. That's where you go.
Oh, I hate that so much.
Go to settings.
If you,
You
hold,
don't get a pull. You don't get a pull.
No.
down.
You long tap the Bluetooth icon in Control Center, and it pulls it up.
let me tell you, to actually get in there, it takes more time to go through the control center than it does to just go tap settings
No, I
on
agree.
your home
yeah.
screen. It's
You
the
can
most
long press
kludgy-
settings and go straight to Bluetooth though.
It is the kludgiest. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Jared, you just taught me
Yep.
something cool.
So that's like one
I like that.
interaction rather than like 3.
That's much better.
Yeah.
I still want it. I still want a clear Bluetooth button on my control center. Don't get me wrong, but that's
Maybe
pretty
you'll
cool.
get one
I like that.
finally.
I'd love it. I'd love it. Let's see. Mac OS Sequoia. The thing about the iPad OS stuff and the Mac OS stuff is it's all the same updates that they talked about for iOS 18. It's all just on those platforms too. So there's
Yep,
not
you-
really
you
a
can-
whole lot to.
Download maps onto your Mac OS laptop and bring it with you on a hike and use your laptop as the
Who wouldn't want to? you
Yeah.
know?
It's great.
They talked a little bit more about Game Sporting Toolkit 2, which is
I'm
supposed to
curious
be able
about
to...
that. They didn't give much details.
No,
in
they
the
just kind of
keynote.
briefly mentioned that, but it should make it. It's just the next version of what they announced a while back to allow you to port Windows games over to your Mac. How effective it is, they didn't really go into it much.
My favorite features are easier window tiling. So it's like basically the Windows Snap feature
Hey,
that
you got
Microsoft
Windows
has had
Snap
for a
now.
while.
Hey, welcome to Windows.
want
What
the-
is
I
that?
want to use an app.
2008, 2010.
Windows 7.
There's Windows 7. There's third-party apps that already do that. So
Yeah.
it'll just
Magnet. So good.
I use Rectangle.
Oh, no,
Um,
actually, I use Rectangle too. Now I think about it.
Yeah, and then you can also do iPhone mirroring. This is pretty neat actually because it'll display your iOS notifications on Mac just like a Mac notification, and then you have your full-on iPhone screen on the desktop, and you can control your phone 100% through
You
the
just
laptop.
have to remember you can't touch the screen to do anything to the phone on your screen that has a touch screen.
Give it
You
up,
have-
Tony.
You have to use your mouse or your keyboard to interact with your fake phone on your screen that they can't touch. Touch doesn't work on the Mac screens ever. The end. Let's see. That about covers WWDC.
WatchOS.
You didn't talk about the math. The math notes was very cool.
Calculator, you mean? The calculator app?
The math. I don't care about the calculator app. It's just cool. You be able to write math equations in the notes app and have it solve it for you.
If I
gonna
had
be
this, if
great
I were
for-
a high school student,
Yeah, great for
I'd
high
be-
school students to just
be
cheat
awesome.
with.
I will
Is it
demo
really
this
cheating,
once
or
and then
you
never use it
Wonder
again.
how they're going to detect this. So, I've got a kid in high school right now, and they have AI detection software for the writing assignments, but what about for this? They're going to say solution
I
provided
think they
by
should
AI.
be leaning into this as
Instant
hard as they
fail.
can.
So yeah, what it is, you use your Apple Pencil, you can write equations, it will solve them automatically in real time from what
Very
you write.
cool.
You can have variables, it can do graphs, it's a graphing calculator.
It is really cool,
But-
it completely takes away the need,
To
or I
learn it.
guess, yeah.
Why does
learning it
anyone need to go
manually.
to school for math, right?
Yeah,
Right?
that's something.
I
It's
mean,
just like
It's not like you want to go into finance or anything.
accounting or statistics.
Accounting is not
or-
math. It is one step down
Budgeting.
from being a lawyer, which everyone hates. It's remembering rules.
But you
You're doing
still
a
have
lot
to
of-
learn how
do you,
to do some
Do you ever
math.
add and subtract stuff? Because that's math.
Accounting is
Math.
the dentistry in the medical field.
You are not selling this at all.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, now we'll get to the story I mentioned at the beginning. Elon is cranky.
Of course
about
he is.
Apple, because
They didn't.
they didn't choose Grok.
He has his
basically,
own
is-
thing. That's right. They have his, and he hit him with a lawsuit or something, didn't
who
he?
would choose Grok?
That's an old thing. That lawsuit thing's separate. That's
Oh.
another. He was suing OpenAI for
OpenAI.
something. I
Which
can't
he
remember.
dropped as of
Sam
today.
Altman.
He
Yeah,
dropped,
it.
as of today because it was actually going to start the court proceedings tomorrow, and he
Yeah.
just he
He just wanted
realized,
it for
"I
the
got
publicity."
nothing.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm dropping the lawsuit. Anyway, Elon has basically said, I'll just read it straight from him. It says, if Apple integrates OpenAI at the OS level, which they haven't, then Apple devices will be banned at my companies. That's an unacceptable security violation. And then tweet number 2, and visitors will have to check their Apple devices at the door, where they will be stored in a Faraday cage.
All right, so Apple devices are out, Windows devices are out because they integrate with OpenAI
Oh, he
a whole
hasn't
lot
said
more than
anything
Apple
about-
devices
no,
do.
They
no,
do.
Windows,
A lot more.
No,
A
he
lot
doesn't have a
closer.
problem with Windows.
So
no,
it's
that's fine.
it's Linux only for
Now, hang
Elon
on.
Musk.
Here it is. It's patently absurd that Apple isn't smart enough to make their own AI, yet is somehow capable of
Which they
ensuring
have.
that OpenAI will protect your security and privacy. Apple has no clue what's actually going on once they hand your data over to OpenAI. They're selling you down the river.
Oh my gosh.
Like
How
Grok
salty
is any
he?
better.
I'm Elon Musk. Dur, 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 dur.
Well, you can't stand there and accuse OpenAI of something that
I
you're
know.
doing with no type of defense for yourself either.
he's
He's
got
not,
even
he
even
hasn't shown.
less regulation
Yeah.
on the Grok stuff
Yeah.
than,
Yep.
than OpenAI does.
He's like, we stuffed data in this hole and we don't know where it goes.
Do you know what Grok
over there.
announced for Microsoft's Xbox keynote? It has like a new summary in Twitter. It
was
says, Microsoft announces next-gen console.
That's incorrect.
Yeah.
100% incorrect.
That's Grok AI for you.
Way to go, Grok.
So anyway, there you go. He's out there. yelling
Guys, there's a
about-
bird right outside my window. I think it's a robin.
What kind is it?
See? So I'm saying, buddy.
You can take a photo of it, and the app would
it's-
identify it
sneaks
for you,
up on you.
Jared.
It identifies it by image too?
Oh yeah, and there's a step-by-step process
But
too.
Jaron doesn't have access to that because he doesn't work for a university.
No, the app
Isn't
is
that what
free.
you said?
Yeah, everyone can use it free to access the database on the website, which is very cool. Is through the UV.
I see. Okay. All right. That's enough about cranky old Elon. Let's talk about a good thing that Elon is in charge of. SpaceX.
I mean, in charge of.
Okay.
Yeah.
A good thing that Elon funds
It's like-
or helps fund.
Yeah,
There you go.
He's in charge adjacent.
Yeah.
So SpaceX
more of a figurehead,
Flight.
really.
Flight 4 did the thing. It took off.
It did it very
And-
well.
And they completed their hot stage. Hot stage, you kind of have to understand how crazy hot stage is, where they fire the thrusters of the capsule of stage 2. They fire that while the other rocket is still falling away, or as it's about to. It happens. It's a hot stage. Anyway, that all worked. The flight went up, and one of the biggest things they need to overcome is recovering or the landing of their stage 1 device,
and
the
their
booster,
stage 2s.
and their stage 2, right? But their
Star-
stage 1,
Starship
sta-
itself.
stage 1, nothing has made it that far yet. Stage 2 made it up. The last flight, they lost telemetry. They were missing some thrusters on the side, and it went and unplanned.
Kablooey.
Yeah.
Unplanned rapid
Ra-
disassembly.
Yeah, that's the one. Rapid unplanned
It's my favorite.
disassembly. So, but this time it went up. They put some stabilizers on the rocket this time. They had some really great cameras. I mean, really great cameras showing the views of the Earth from up there.
Yeah, it was
It's
awesome.
separated. It did the flip maneuver. It came back down, and they did not plan to land this one on a ship or to actually land it. They knew it was going to splash down, but it successfully came down. It was cool to see it come right to the water's edge and just kind of cut off and plop into the
Over.
water.
Yeah.
And
Both the first stage did that
yeah,
successfully, and the Starship did
and
that
the
successfully.
second stage. And as it came down, though, so you were watching as the booster came down, stage one of the stabilizers just started to disintegrate.
Stabilizing
see-
fins.
Yeah, one of the stabilizers was that on the. I think it was on stage one. The
No,
stabilizing
that was
fins.
stage 2.
Oh, stage two. That's right. The capsule.
Yeah.
That's what failed last time. So they tacked on basically these stabilizers. But anyway, the heat shield failed on those, and it just almost burned off. But it successfully came down, made its trip up there, and had telemetry coming back down. So they're looking to do another flight soon. There was rumor that they're going to make a Starship like once a month or something. Once they get into production and they get all the,
Wow.
that's a lot of stainless steel, I guess.
Yeah.
But I can't decide. I watched the entire launch in the YouTube video on YouTube, and I have to say that I think that those people there are paid enthusiasts, paid enthusers.
No,
I don't know,
that's-
paid emotion.
enthusers.
They're paid enthusers. Like I can't imagine anybody. They would pan to the crowd when anything happened, and they were literally jumping and going fanatical like it was the Beatles back
Sounds
in
like
the.
Apple fanboys.
It was
Or Trump rally.
yeah. I don't want to say that, but I'm just saying the level of the level of what I can only assume is uninformed enthusiasm was.
No, see, I think you're
Am I just being a pessimist?
I think you are.
There's
'Cause
just
I
some
think
really
the people that they're
space
showing.
enthusiasts.
No. The people they're showing are workers at the company.
No, these are people outside.
I don't think so.
Oh, these are employees
These
that
are
are not allowed in the
employees.
control room.
Yeah. And so they're super stoked to see their
So they are paid
project
enthusiasts.
working.
They
I
are
mean,
paid enthusiasts.
in a manner
right?
of speaking.
I mean, they're
yeah.
getting paid
In a
by
manner of
Star.
speaking.
Starlink, SpaceX is paying them, so I'm not wrong. I'm not completely right, but I'm not wrong.
Technically, you're not
Technically,
wrong.
Man, you are such a politician.
Right on the edge of that, Tony, or Jaron, you don't even know. So it came back down. It was successful. Everybody's patting themselves on the back. I mean, that is a phenomenal feat if you understand the gravity. I heard
Fun.
it.
Nice.
Of how big Starship is.
Yeah.
All but one of the engines lit for the first initial launch. There was one that failed out, but 33 or 32 out of the 33 Raptor engines
Right.
fired off, and it was. I mean, someday I want to go feel that. Like I just want to be there when that launch goes off because it looks the sensory looks amazing from the video.
Yeah.
And I wonder what that would be like to even be at the 5 miles or 7 miles? I can't remember what the distance requirement is, but even that far away, people were like, you could just feel it.
Oh yeah.
So that's on my bucket list. But yeah, it did its thing. Pretty cool.
Sweet.
Payload went
Have
up.
you ever seen a rocket booster go off, Owen?
Not in person.
It used to be so when they were doing the
They had
old shuttles here in Utah. They were a place called Morton Thiokol. They would develop solid rocket boosters, and I went twice to see them do test fires of these rocket boosters, and it was dope. Like you had to be a long ways away, and the shockwave. You could see it coming, and whoosh, it was like go over you.
That's
it was pretty
cool.
sweet.
Yeah.
Dang.
Because that's how they test the thrust output, huh? They would
Yeah,
put it
They
down.
would, it was just sideways on the ground, bolted down, loud as crap too.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of space stuff, let's talk about Mars a little bit, Lando.
Yeah, so this was excuse me. This was pretty frog in the throat. This was pretty cool actually. So we've known about water on Mars for a while now, right? We've just seen the ice and stuff like that. However, scientists have made a new exciting discovery on Mars, that of frost. So Mars gets frost just like Earth does, which is a very surprising discovery because there's no air. So what's
There's
going on
air.
here, right? So
Mars has atmosphere. It's just very thin.
Yeah, it's just very, very thin. And same with this this frost, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every single morning, patches of frost appear around sunrise, very, very thin, the equivalent of the thickness of a human hair.
Wow.
But despite like just how thin it is, it's enough water to fill roughly 60 Olympic swimming pools, measuring close to 29.4 million gallons of water.
It doesn't appear at low altitudes. It's on the highest peaks,
Yeah,
or
it's on Olympus Mons. Yeah.
Yep, it's on the volcanoes, including massive Olympic Mons.
is that the biggest? Did they say that's the biggest
Olympus Mons is
volcano in
the-
the universe or in the
No, it's the largest mountain in the solar system.
solar system? There we go.
Yeah.
Universe.
so
They're-
it's-
they're basically the same thing.
It comes and goes,
Is
just
it
like
larger
regular-
than the Himalayas, including the like all the way down past the ocean, though?
Well, that's not part of the Himalayas. The Himalayas
Technically, it
don't extend
is.
into the Marianas Trench.
That's very deep. Anyway, they say that the frost forms due to unique
I can test this.
microclimates created by air circulation around the volcanoes, which I thought was very cool.
Yeah, that's pretty
So
rad.
that's a pretty exciting new science discovery about Mars, and I thought that was cool. So we like to talk
should
about
go
science things and
Let's talk to
science-based
Elon.
stuff.
Yeah, let's talk to Elon, see if we can go there. Hey, Starship's working now, right?
He
So
wants
let's
to
go.
die on Mars, he said, years
Let
ago.
him.
But he says he doesn't want to die on impact, so I guess he wants to get there safely.
Wonder if he'll hand over Twitter again.
What'd you find there, Jaron?
Nothing.
Did you Google? Did you ask
Look
ChatGPT?
Look at him fact checking somebody. You can see
Going
it on his
through
face.
these. We value your privacy. Cookies, blah blah blah.
Oh, he's trying to prove Tony wrong about the Himalayas.
Yeah.
Of course,
do you
yes,
want
that's
do
important.
you want to talk about Rivian?
Oh yeah, I do. Yes, they have refreshed their cars. The only good electric truck, the R1T.
I think the Chevy Silverado EV is pretty rad.
Oh yeah. You're right. I was just trying to throw shade at the Cybertruck.
Oh,
Of course, as
Yeah.
you
I
should.
mean, Ford F-150 Lightning's pretty
Yeah,
cool
that was
too.
pretty rad too. So there's only one EV truck that is.
that you don't like.
So, I saw on Reddit somebody mirror polished one
Yeah.
of those Cybertrucks to like polish the stainless steel to a mirror finish.
Looks insane.
It looks ridiculous. Oh, anyway.
So it's basically the same on the outside, but they changed a lot on the inside. They have simplified the manufacturing of it because they are like losing upwards of $30,000 per car that they sell.
Oof.
Which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, you don't want like the console model on selling cars.
No, it doesn't
work too well.
Not feasible. Not
So
sustainable.
they simplified it by like over a mile of cabling in there of wires, and they redid it quite a bit. So the article doesn't say how much they're going to be losing on the new ones.
Hopefully it's less.
Yeah, hopefully it's less. So the R1S starts at 76,000, R1T starts at 70,000. And they have like, it goes up from there. You can get like a max battery pack with upwards of 400 miles.
Still not as much as the Silverado EV.
How much is that?
440.
Nice. Yeah, I think this one goes up to 420. So it's in that ballpark.
Yeah.
I think for a truck, it probably needs to go to 600 if you want to do any towing whatsoever.
Yeah, because it cuts it by that much, you know.
Yeah.
At least half usually, depending on how
So-
bad the terrain is.
If you want to tow ever, don't get an EV. That's just the moral of the story.
That's what I'm waiting for.
But they made it a little bit more refined on the interior. The seats are a little bit more comfortable in the back. So overall, a solid upgrade.
They switched to NVIDIA processing for their computers in the trucks.
Oh, nice. And for the dashboard, they're using Unreal Engine for the UI. And so they have these nice graphics when you select different options. There is quite a bit of stuttering, as you would expect from Unreal Engine. I saw
Womp
some
womp.
videos.
Can't get away from it even in cars.
Yeah. Literal traversal stutter.
So the Max quad motor
Get it?
format.
Get it?
Yeah, I get it. The Max quad motor format does
That sounds cool.
0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds.
That'll
is
peel your hair
fast.
Yeah, insane. But I mean, it's 2.5 seconds on a prepped track.
Right.
So if you go watch Jerry Rig Everything's video on it, they had him out there to play with it. and it shows them prepping the track, putting the sticky stuff down and everything, and they pre-warm the tires up and everything. But he himself did a 2.59 0 to 60.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, just
nuts.
doing that on a regular road, you would just lay a path of smoke as you rip through the tires, tore them apart.
Yeah, you would.
Not necessarily.
You're not going to get 2.5 though. You'll probably
No,
get low
yeah.
threes.
Yeah. I did that in a friend's Model S. There was no peeling out, and it
They
went
have all that
crazy fast.
automatic differential, you
Yeah.
know,
Power distribution.
power distribution stuff. Yeah. So, but yeah, these are rad. Oh, that one that does 2.5 second, 1,025 horsepower on that truck,
That's crazy.
Hummer.
and it was 1,000 something foot-pounds of torque. So yeah,
I really like the Rivians. They are nice.
I do too. If I had the money and I wasn't afraid that they might not be around for a super
Yeah.
long time, I would totally
Fair.
get one. But I don't have the money, and I am afraid that they aren't going to make it.
That was my question. Rivian, I thought was in trouble a few years ago.
Rivian has been
they're
operating
still-
on the edge of
like
oblivion
Yeah.
for like 3 years, and they keep staying away from it just enough to keep things going and make advancements, but they're not what you would call financially secure right now.
Did
They're
Rivian
better off than some of the other companies out there.
All of the companies are better off than Fisker. That
Yeah.
place is going out of business again. I guarantee. This is the second time Fisker's had an electric car company, and this
Who did
one's
the-
on its way out.
Who did the semi truck or the trailer tractor that failed? Was that Rivian? Who did that? That
No,
was
no,
like
no,
a-
no. That was
Nicola.
Nicola.
Nicola,
right.
yeah.
Right. Throwing shade at Tesla. I get it.
Tesla's the only one that's been able to do what you would call a successful semi truck so far. They have dozens. or
Amazon's
more
ordered some, right?
in
Pepsi's
use
ordered
right now.
some. Yeah.
Pepsi, yeah. So
Rivian has been successful with Amazon, though.
That's
all their
true.
Delivery trucks.
I see them all
Vans.
over the place in
Yeah.
Utah. The electric delivery vans, those are rad. I really like Rivian too. I hope they succeed. I hope they become big. So. Let's see. Let's talk about. Oh, okay. PSA time. Can't believe we have to
PSA.
do this, but it needs to be said every few years. PSA: vaccines don't cause autism. Everyone, you just need to know.
But Tony,
But Tony, there's 2 Google results that say that they do.
my neighbor across the street says so.
My mom says so.
So yeah, Ars Technica posted another article about this on the 5th of June, just to let people know, because a study came out that it's actually slightly increasing each couple of years, where they talk to people about people that think that children's vaccines cause autism, which it has been proven thoroughly that they do not. And the only study that supported it came out in 1998 and
It has been thoroughly debunked.
has been thoroughly debunked to the point where the publishing of it was pulled back.
They retracted it.
They
right?
retracted
They
it.
retracted it.
Yeah. It was a 1998 Lancet paper by notorious anti-vaccine advocate Andrew Wakefield. So it's been proven wrong thoroughly. They revoked it. What was the word you used? Retracted it.
Retracted.
So yeah, if you're
Do you
on the
think-
fence at all about this, don't be. Protect your kids from measles, mumps, rubella, all of those
Please.
things. And that's another reason why this was
And
brought
not
up.
just your kids, but those MMR vaccines. Some babies can't have those, and like some babies, like you can't get them all the time. And so if your kid gets that, it's not just like a victimless crime where it's like, oh well, my kid will just get MMR.
It affects
or measles.
everybody.
It affects everybody because there's some babies that can't have that vaccine yet
Right.
until a specific age, and if they catch it from you, they can die. And you're like, oh well, they should have kept their baby away. It's like, come on, just get
Yep.
the like.
Another reason why this was brought up again, and they wrote an article about this again, is because there has been an uptick
Huge.
in measles cases
Yeah.
in the U.S.
Yep.
You know,
And
This-
polio,
Yeah, more than there
too,
should
and
be. Like,
I
that should be
think
done.
Polio's
not
how we
in
had
the
some-
U.S. for polio. That was
Yeah.
in other countries.
but like it's another. But it's
That
anyway.
was a disease that was thought to have been
It
completely
eradicated.
eradicated.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you
Drives
think?
me
Do you,
so.
Do you think the increase in autism and ADHD cases is better detection
100%.
or
is
something else environmental with
maybe
stimulus because
Maybe.
they're saying
Yeah.
that being overstimulated as a child
It could
with
be.
screens because screen time is highly unregulated, and we know that too much screen time can have a negative effect on infant and toddler
it could be, but I'm not going to sit here and say I've read studies on that
Right,
that
me either.
support it or anything. Maybe
I think it's
don't know.
I think it's probably a
But
mixture of both.
I guarantee you that a lot of it has to do with the scope of what is considered autism has been changed and widened for the spectrum to include more things, and the ability to detect the ways in which we detect this in children has grown significantly. It's for the same reason that in the 1800s you didn't hear about people dying of cancer very much because they didn't know all the different cancers that existed. It was just called consumption or something. Generally, they died of whatever because there wasn't the screening process.
Consumption of what?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, rant over. Getting off my soapbox. If you have any young kids, just do the right thing and get them vaccinated.
There are support groups too. If you're somebody that knows somebody that wants to get vaccinated, I'm not condoning going and taking somebody and vaccinating their kid, but I've seen a lot of stories. I've seen a lot of stories where kids will go and ask to get vaccinated themselves, and there are support groups that can work on that. Anyway,
yep,
reach out, get vaccinated. Come on,
that's right. Let's see. Let's talk about what time. Oh, we're already at 50 minutes. Wow.
Boy, time does fly.
I tell you.
Let's knock it out quick.
Okay, let's say we got a lightning round quick.
A real lightning round. None of this fake lightning rounds.
I don't have anything to talk about, so one lightning round done.
I'll take Tony's. All right.
Nope,
Humane.
no.
The horrible AI pin. Their
is
charger is catching on fire.
yes,
Of course
Kick
it
them
is.
while they're down.
Well,
Humane.
so you're catching
another-
like the lapel pin is like the pin is starting on fire.
the charger base.
The charger base.
Oh, okay.
I read another article that was talking about how internally, while it was being developed, they would not let anyone within the company say bad things about the choices being made because that was considered like
Too negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Heresy.
nothing ever got shot down as far as bad ideas from the uppity ups.
Imagine being able to build your own echo chamber like that.
Exactly.
Sounds
So,
nice.
in the same week that Apple is going to destroy their business with the new Siri and Apple Intelligence, well, their devices catch on fire too. Really quick, Adobe, they released a new terms of service saying
a
that
second one.
they may access, view,
No,
or
it's
listen
not
to your
allowed.
content through both automated and manual methods using techniques such as machine learning or in order to improve our services and software and user experience.
better have a
This was
knockdown
for
rate.
Adobe Acrobat and everything Adobe.
So PDFs and contracts,
not
all
good.
that, all those
So,
protected PDFs and stuff.
Adobe is claiming they have access to everything, all those business secrets, all of your
those
stuff.
contracts, which are almost
That's bad.
Huge backlash, and now today Adobe's like,
Oh, they-
we'll get back to you next
never
week.
mind.
We'll redo this.
We might change
Yeah.
this. Sorry, guys.
We didn't
need to
expect you
switch-
guys to actually
they-
read it.
yeah. I think they need to do the same thing. Like Adobe's like, Microsoft pushed out recall, bro. Do it.
Yeah,
send it.
We can slide this under the radar.
And
while
then
everyone's
recall
looking
flipped
at that.
out. Recall flipped out, and you know that a very stressed out marketing a person at Adobe was like, "Did you already send that out? Did you already change that?" Yeah, we did.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
All right, Owen, you got.
I got
wanna-
two. I don't know. What do you guys? Smart contacts or I'm gonna say smart contacts.
Smart contacts because
We're
it
gonna
dovetails
just-
into mine.
I'm gonna do Boeing because we got a lot of space stuff here. Starliner also did their thing. They flew, they made it.
They didn't blow up.
They
No, they
didn't
made
blow
it.
up, but some thrusters failed. That
The
they
escape
had to
hatch didn't blow open.
they had to reset some thrusters. They were delayed docking with the ISS because some rocket systems had to be rebooted. But
That
after
the
a quick little
astronauts were
reboot,
like, "What the crap is going on? What have I done?"
No, and this is the reason why Starliner has to be insanely over-engineered. Coming from public funding, we've all seen how the budget just ballooned into insanity. Starliner has been over-engineered. They actually have a complete manual mode with precision docking and flight controls that doesn't require the computers.
I would want anything that's going to transport humans to be very over-engineered.
I'm curious to see how the Dragon capsule, what its manual mode is or what its override systems are in event of a catastrophic failure. I know it has to have something, but Starliner is ridiculously over-engineered. There's like 3 redundant systems, so it worked out. They got put up there. They're doing their sciencey things, and they are possibly going to have their stay extended, but we'll see. I don't think it's come back yet, so we'll see how re-entry goes.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
That's good news. We want, as much as we dog on NASA's slow movement and overinflated budgets, I still want to see them succeed. I still want to see them do it. I just want to see them do it faster and cheaper.
Yeah, I want them to be able to hold up different safety protocols or procedures to Musk, to SpaceX, and be like,
you guys
I get
do
we're
this
doing.
too.
Yeah, right. Setting some sort of standard, and you can't do that till you can compare and contrast, right?
That's true. All right, Lando, night vision for everyone.
Yeah, so I'm a sucker for a good wearable. So we have developed ultra thin night vision film that can be placed over existing lenses, allowing people to see clearly in the dark without bulky night vision. Yeah. So currently, right now, night vision's like big, bulky, like
headsets,
headset type VR looking nonsense. This is over regular glasses. Night vision for everybody. Like, this is dope.
I need this.
So how does it work? Because the whole point of the night vision is that it throws out like
it's
infrared
a
light.
It's a photon-based approach, is what it says, that enables a more compact and efficient night vision solution. So it's a breakthrough that makes night vision accessible to everyday consumers.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's a technology that's super cool, but we're not going to see for a while. That's what it
weighs
says.
less than a gram. It can be placed across existing lensed frames. So it doesn't distort the light. Like if you have prescription glasses, it's not just like under the glasses. It doesn't change the light refraction into your eye. That's cool.
Nice.
Sign me up.
Does this require batteries?
Good question,
I'm sure
Jared.
it does. There's no way.
I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna dip into paragraph 4 here.
Whoa. Easy there.
It does say in paragraph 4, and I'm too afraid to go to paragraph 5. So I don't know. Probably runs on hopes and dreams and something.
So it decreases the size and weight of power requirements. So yeah, it does have power requirements. So it is
If it
required.
has power requirements, then I'll need a battery.
Yep.
Cool. Well, there you go. All right, that is the end of today's episode. Before we go, though, big shout out to our awesome Patreon backers, patreon.com/helpdeskarcade. If you feel like dropping a couple shekels our way, you'll get access to things like the In-Between and the Patreon sponsored Discord channel and early access to Arcade, which is after the In-Between. Things like that. But if you donate $6 a month or more, you get a shout out, which Jaren has for us right now.
Thank you to David Broshinsky, Connor Keesaw, Wiffleball Tony, Jason Eatman, Huevos Verdes con Jamon Juan Ramon, Lambo is 3.6 Rontgens, Molehills Meatballs, Molehills Moleballs. Oh, crap! I was trying so hard.
Not even this time.
Meatballs, Mohills. Be the 8-year-old. Michael Shane, Tony the Home Theater Geek, Travis Johnson. Buy Geekshow Arcade Helpdesk stickers at Pyman Graphics on Etsy. All proceeds go to Lee George Cade's medical bills. Jeremy, No Name No Color, Keslow, Eric Steinman, Eric Cruz, the In-Between rating +8. Matt Nelson, Harry Patch. Adam, Aaron Faulkner, Stuart Lloyd. The problem with sobriety is there's no molehill. Oh, crap.
Nope, still
the problem
messed it
with
up.
society is there are no meatball.
Why is it so hard?
Also, he's saying sobriety and not society.
Ryan M. and Adam Hecht. Thanks, everyone.
Jared, you have one job.
All right. Very good. Thank you so much, Patreon backers. You are awesome. Okay, we're done. We'll see you in Arcade or in the In-Between. Lando, take us out.
Yeah, so if you're mad at, big giant companies for not choosing your company, to work with on the AI thing, scream about it really loud on Twitter. It's fine. Makes everything better. Be an end user.